Have you ever imagined how it would feel not to sleep in a warm place but rather in a cold park bench? Or the thought of having to travel from one place to another and at times not knowing where, where you're going to be sleeping when the night falls? Well, today I'm here to persuade you all about the problem of homelessness that there is in Athens, Georgia. I have spent many hours doing research on the issue of homelessness to be well informed about my topic. Homelessness is an important topic because the number of homeless people has grown over the past few years. The purpose of my speech is to persuade my audience that we have a problem with homelessness in Athens, Clarke County. I will be going over three main topics. First, I will define what exactly is homelessness. Second, the history of homelessness in America. And third, what homelessness looks like in Athens. So let's start with our first point. What is the definition of homelessness? So according to Merriam-Webster, homelessness is defined as not having a home or permanent place of residence. When many people think of a homeless person, we often think about a person who just lives out on the streets, but that's not always the case. There are several types of homelessness that include episodic, chronic, and transitional and hidden. Episodic homelessness people are the ones who have reoccurring issues with housing and usually are in and out of shelters because they have seasonal jobs that affect their living status. According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, it states chronic homeless people are the ones who deal with homelessness for at least a year while struggling with mental illness, substance use, or physical disability. Transitional homelessness is the state of homelessness that results when a person has gone through a major life change or a catastrophic event. Hidden homelessness are individuals who don't have a stable home and live with others temporarily. They're called this because most of them don't get the housing support, so they are not always identified. Overall, there's various definitions of homelessness, and it's not just one simple meaning. Next, we'll discuss my second main topic, which is the history of homelessness in America. The first incident of homelessness dated back as early as 1640. According to the website Homelessness, it states the problem of homelessness at the period was the result of King Philip War of 1675 through 1676 against the native people. Many colonies were driven out of their homes to seek shelter in the forest or coastal areas. In the 1800s, the Industrial Revolution happened and many people had to move to the northeast, increasing the number of people experiencing homelessness as they had to go look for work. Then in the 1830, the Indian Removal Act was placed that created a mass of homelessness. According to the History of Homelessness in America by Michelle Chen, it states when the effects of the Great Depression occurred in the 1930s and natural disasters, it led to unemployment, which people were homeless. Then in the 1960s through the 1990s, mental health hospitals and community-based housing and support resources were deinstitutionalized, which is the procedure of shifting the care and support from long-stay psychiatric hospitals to community health services for patients diagnosed with several mental disorders. And according to Visible TV, it states that in the 2000s, the rate of homelessness increased due to the high cost of housing, and the wages of people was not enough for housing costs. As we know, the homelessness rates are still high because people cannot maintain a stable home. It is because of mental health issues or substance use, or some of them just can't afford the living costs. The last topic I will be discussing is what homelessness looks like in Athens. Many of us have visited, or some of us even live in Athens or visited downtown Athens, so most of us are aware of the number of tents that are placed all over the town due to homelessness. Over the past few years, the rate of homelessness has increased because people cannot afford housing. According to the article, The Epidemic of Homelessness in Athens by Monique Olivia, it states as of 2017, the United States Census Bureau cited 35.5% of residents in Athens, Clark County are living in poverty. So here I have a graph of people that the total of people is in red that are homeless in total, and then in the blue are the ones that are sheltered. So you see from 2015 there's about 135 people who weren't sheltered, and then in 2020 it did go down a little bit by and then in the yellow, there's the unsheltered people, that there's about 80 people that are unsheltered, and then in 2020, it did go up a little bit. So as we see, the total of homelessness people in 2020 was 210. And then in 2022, the total of homelessness people went up to 283 individuals in total without homes. And then according to Athens Homeless Coalition, the point in time counted 74 people unsheltered and 209 people that were sheltered. And according to the demographics from 2020, most of the homeless population were 64% men, and then 33% of them were women. So homelessness in Athens has become an issue that has increased more and more over the past few years. In conclusion, my speech purpose was to persuade my audience that we have a problem with homelessness in Athens, Clark County. In my speech, we went over 3 main topics, including what homelessness is, the history of homelessness in America, and what homelessness looks like in Athens. In a whole, we should not judge people or homeless people because we don't always know what they're